Hi student, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Math Wen. I'm here to help you to revise the mathematics you have learned in school and gain more confidence in solving mathematics problems. Today, we are going to learn another way to solve quadratic equations. There is a quadratic formula. Before we start the quadratic equations, please take a look of these four questions. They have one common thing. In these four questions, we can take square root to the both sides. So we can remove the square. Okay, let's see the steps. In question 1, 3x squared is equal to 108. 108 can be divided by 3. So x squared is 36. And we take the square root. X is equal to 6. But remember, a number, when you take the square root of a number, there will be two square root. The first one is positive 6, the other one is negative 6. So there are two answers, positive 6 or negative 6. 2 is very similar to number 1. We can take the square root directly. The left hand side is x plus 7. The right hand side is positive or negative 4. Okay, then move 7 to the right hand side. Okay, don't stop here. We need to separate into two answers. The first answer is positive 4 minus 7. The other one is negative 4 minus 7 is 11, negative 11. Okay, in question number 3, the left hand side is something square is equal to 5. Whenever there is a something square, you can simply take the square root and take away the 2 in the corner. Okay, so take the square root, 9x plus 2. The right hand side, you cannot take the simply take the square root of 5 and get integers. In this case, you just write a positive or negative root 5. Then we move the 2 to the right hand side. Divided by 9. Okay, done. In question 4 and question 3, there is only one little difference. Is that you can see there is a 4 outside, but it is very easy to take away. You just put the 4 to the right hand side. So 2x minus 5, root 5, square, 20 divided by 4 is 5. And take the square root. 2x minus root 5 is equal to positive or negative root 5. Okay, now this time very interesting things happen. Okay, there are two root 5. We can add or subtract these two root 5. Okay, let's move on. We move the negative root 5 to the right hand side. 2x is positive or negative root 5 plus root 5. Okay, now we separate into 2. Okay, because we can further simplify the right hand side. So one of them is positive root 5 plus root 5. The other is negative root 5 plus root 5. The first one is 1 root 5 plus 1 root 5 is 2 root 5. Okay, the second one, of course, they cancel. So the other answer is 0. So you see that these four questions are quite easy to do. So next time, if you are given questions to do, check whether you can simply take the square root to the both sides. Let's move to quadratic formula. Suppose that you are given quadratic equations. ax squared plus bx plus c is 0. A, B, C are numbers. They refer to h square coefficients, and constant. Okay, for example, h square minus 7h minus 3. ABC refers to the number before h square, h and the number. So you see that in this case, A is 1, B is negative 7, C is negative 3. Okay, and then the roots of this equation can be obtained by substitute ABC into these equations. Okay, so A is 1, B is negative 7, C is negative 3. So put all the number in the equations. Negative B, so negative 7 becomes 7. Okay, and then B square, actually we should use a brackets. Okay, B square minus 4 A and C. A is 4, A is 1, C is negative 3. Once again, we should use a brackets. Okay, and then simplify the expression inside the square root sign. 49 plus 4 times negative 3 is positive 12, and then root 61. Okay, this one is the answer. Actually, you don't need to separate into two parts. Okay, so the quadratic formula is very straightforward. You just have the formula, input everything and simplify, and then you are done. Okay, let's do some practice. Okay, the formula is here. Letter B, positive or negative, square root B square minus 4AC over 2A. Okay, you can write down ABC for yourself. Okay, now B is negative 3. Remember, you need to take care of the sign. Okay, so the answer is S is equal to negative 3 become positive 3, plus or minus, always use brackets, minus 4 times 5. Once again, use brackets, over 2A. 2 times 8, 2 times 5 is 10. Okay, and then 3 plus or minus 9, 280 over 10. The root of 289 is 17. Okay, don't stop here, because you can further simplify it. Okay, separate into 2. 3 plus 17 is 20 over 10, or negative 14 over 10. So the answer are 2, or negative 1.4. So X is equal to 20. Negative 20 become 20. Positive or negative? Negative 20 square minus 4 times 4AC, 4 times 4 times 25 over 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, 20. Okay, the number inside the brackets is 400 minus 400, so root 0. Okay, root 0 is 0. Okay, plus 0 or minus 0 are the same, so we don't need to write the positive or negative 0. Just 20 over 8. Simplify it, divided by 4, so 5 over 2. Before we continue to part C, please read the first line. By using quadratic formula, you may use different types of root. Different types of root. What type? Okay, in question A, there are 2 roots. Okay, in part B, we use the same method, but only 1 root. Why is that? We go back a little bit these steps. There are two roots. The first one is 20 plus something over h, 20 minus something over h, but the something here is 0, so the two roots become 1s. Okay, so when the number inside the square root becomes 0, two roots will become 1. Okay, that's why I say there may be different kinds of root. Part A, we have two roots. The part B, we have only one root. Consider part C. I've written down the steps, and then we have s is equal to 1 plus or minus root negative 27 over 2, and then we try to use a calculator to find the value of root negative 27. If you do, you may find message in the calculator, math error. This math error appears when you take the square root of a negative number. Not take the square root of a negative number. Suppose that there is a times a itself is really negative 27, but it is impossible. If a is positive, a squared is positive. If a is negative, a squared is also positive. So in any case, the square of a squared cannot be negative 27. So as there is no negative square root, so this expression cannot be regarded as the root of these equations. Actually, we don't find any roots in these equations. So we just simply write no roots. Eventually, not all quadratic equation has solutions. I try to give you another examples. X squared is equal to negative 100. Okay, this equation has obviously no solutions. If x is 10, 10 squared is equal to 100. X cannot be negative 10 because the square of negative 10 will be equal to positive 100. So in this case, there is no roots. Okay, so about these three examples, we see that in some case we have two roots, in some case we have one root. For some quadratic equation, there is no roots. Okay, we know that how to use the quadratic formula to find the roots now, but on top of that, some questions may require us to express in, for example, in part A, in short form, in part B, correct to 2 decimal places. I use these examples to demonstrate how to give the appropriate answer. This one is the answer of part A. The short form refers to the square root things. Okay, so this one is okay. Part B, we are required to find the numerical answer of the solutions. So the first step, we separate the two solutions, and then we use the calculator to find out the values, and then correct to 2 decimal places. So the first one is negative 0.54. The other one is negative 2.46. In these few episodes, we have learned 2 ways to solve quadratic formula. They are the factor method, bracket calculator, and then the second one is quadratic formula. In my opinion, I will use the factor method all the times. However, you may use quadratic formula in the following case. The first one, the question asks you to do so. The second one, you are required to express the answer in short forms, and then in this case, only quadratic formula is possible. At last, you try to use a calculator to find the answer. However, the answer is in the form of non-determining decimal. It means that it cannot turn it back to fractions. In this case, you use quadratic formula. This is the end of this lesson. See you next time. Bye bye.